Would you think that in the 21st century someone could get a patent for putting a lens over a light source to spread the beam pattern out? Well, someone did. Welcome, lighting industry professionals. My name is Greg Galluccio. This is the Motivo video series where we focus on important business issues for people supplying lamps and fixtures into the North American lighting market. There are plenty of forums and conferences out there where we can geek out about the difference between scotopic and photopic lumens. But in this video, we're going to focus on actual business challenges. You're watching part 2 of our 2-part foray into the problems associated with the patent protection system for lighting technology in North America. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, click on the link right up here to watch it now. Or stay with me and let's check out the Patent Minefield part 2. In part 1, we identified 3 problems with the patent protection system in North America. In this video, we'll take a look at a second real-life situation that illustrates all 3 problems at once. Are you ready? Here's real-life scenario number 2. Let's say your small but successful lighting supply business now carries a wide portfolio of lamps and fixtures. Guess what? You've just shown up on somebody's radar. You get a letter from one of the biggest lighting conglomerates in the business. The letter says,
"Your products are infringing on our patents."
But don't worry, they're going to offer you some generous options as to how you can pay them royalties from now on. Before we get into this any further, we should probably take a look at the term patent troll. For anyone who's not familiar with this term, a patent troll is a person or an organization, usually a bunch of attorneys, that shoots out infringement accusations like buckshot, and then waits to see who they can persuade or legally force to pay them royalties for the patents that they own. Do you know what a patent troll doesn't do? It doesn't design or manufacture products. It doesn't innovate or provide new technology to the market. In fact, the only thing a patent troll actually produces is indigestion. Putting it a different way, they are not the types of entities that our patent laws were designed to encourage and protect. They are a rancid byproduct of our overly litigious society. That's why they call them trolls. Okay, some of you may sense a bit of hostility in my tone. And you would be correct in pointing out that our patent laws serve a necessary and useful purpose in our industry. So let me say this very clearly. I totally agree. I'm a designer and I've been granted a number of patents, none of which I own the rights to. Another video, another day. And I believe that all valid patents should be honored by anyone who sells product using the technology taught by the patent. But before we just say, okay, suck it up and pay the troll, let's go back to our real life scenario and dig a little deeper. Now, when you respond to the Darth Vader letter and ask exactly what patents are you referring to that we're infringing on, this is what you'll get. A reference to literally thousands of patents that this company has accumulated through filings, mergers, acquisitions, and who knows what else. Of course, showing you a cargo hold of patent documents is an intimidation tactic. It's meant to make you think, without evidence, that you must be infringing on something. If they're going to prosecute you, they have to tell you exactly which patents and which products are an infringement. Now, this is when they point to the astronomical amount of time and effort that it would take to actually do this. And so they say, why don't we just agree on a flat rate that you can pay from now on and you'll be protected no matter what you make and no matter which patents you infringe on. You should realize at this stage that you're being shaken down. They're going to start their negotiations with a flat rate that's just enough not to make you go bankrupt. Just like the parasite that doesn't want to kill its host. Now, I shouldn't insinuate that these people are criminals because they're not. In fact, the law is on their side. But what that tells me is that there's something wrong with the law. More on that later. So you say to yourself, okay, the flat rate is giving me agita, let's take a look at the actual patents. Some back and forth you can have with these guys will eventually push them into showing you 6 or 7 patents that they believe are the major ones you might infringe on. Now finally, we get a look at some of the kind of patent claims that we're up against. One is a patent on using pulse width modulation to dim LEDs, issued in 2003. Engineers have used pulse width modulation to control power to a load since the early 1900s. Another patent talks about using feedback circuits to monitor LED condition. Novel idea. But my favorite one, which I alluded to in the opening of this video, is a US patent issued in 2013 that teaches the use of a curved lens over an LED to widen the beam spread. Do you know who the first people were to use a curved lens over a light source to produce a dispersed beam? The ancient Egyptians. In fact, it was probably done before that by some people who did not have the foresight to draw it out on the walls of the caves that they lived in. You have to wonder what was going on in the patent examiner's office when these kinds of patents were granted. Now, there's so much more to this saga that I could relate, but we don't have all day. Suffice it to say that as things progress, they only get better for the troll. Let's move on to the meat of this conversation. How can the system be improved to provide more benefit to the innovators and, frankly, to the consumers, and less benefit to the parasites? One change we need, in my opinion, is that we need to tighten down on the nature of the patents that are being granted. Any patent that is written so broadly that the patent holder can control the entire industry is counterproductive. Another suggestion: whenever two parties reach a settlement on an infringement, the settlement amount should be made public. And finally, maybe something needs to be done with regard to how we transfer the rights from the inventor to someone who now just owns the rights to the patent. That's it for today. The main purpose of the Lotivo video series is to inspire conversations and explore solutions. If you have ideas, comments, agreements, disagreements, and best of all, solutions for the problems we've talked about, I invite you to leave your comments down below. My name is Greg Galluccio. This is the Lotivo video series. Thanks for being here, and please join me for the next video.
Send lawyers, guns, and money. Send lawyers, guns, and money.